And I feel like the majority of teachers and spiritual people in general, they want to make you feel like if you still have a problem with the way things are in the world, that's because you need to keep healing yourself. It is a valid rage because this rage is divine. Hi, hello, and thank you for joining again. I recently watched a video and I had an illumination right after, and I had to share it. So here we go. Basically, I was watching a video of Hitomi. Most of you probably know her. It was a video about how she was navigating the world and her fear of men. And honestly, it struck me like lightning because the first thing I thought was like, oh my god, you too? I have been this fear and this problem of like navigating society interaction with men for a very long time. And what I loved about this video is that she normalized that this is not something to be ashamed of, and she was also experiencing it. And honestly, I've been following her for a while along with other people in general. My point is coming, don't worry. To me, I know that her spiritual journey started way back, way before mine. It was very inspiring in the sense that I realized, oh my god, so you're still struggling with that kind of stuff, you know? Being spiritual and having experienced a bunch of things in your spiritual journey, having grown a lot, doesn't mean that struggle doesn't disappear. I guess I was very surprised because it's not the first person with a certain following speaking on men. And it's true that before starting my spiritual journey, I was looking at spirituality and people of this field being like enlightened people living in a world where all of the problems of the world are gone, you know, have disappeared. And now they're found and everything's fine. But we don't see a lot of people, especially a lot of women, but even men, speaking about inequality, sexism, you know, SA, all these things in the spiritual community. The fact that she opened up about this and clearly stated that she was still uncomfortable with men and interacting with them and all this forced flirting that is so often imposed to us, that is so exhausting, I felt so seen, so understood. It was a huge revelation for me because it is not something that people open up about easily, especially in the spiritual community. I feel like people want to portray, you know, a reality where everything's fine now that I'm spiritual, life is good, we have found ourselves, we have built communities where everything is perfect, it's heaven, all the problematics of the matrix are gone here. And it's not true at all. It's not like that. And not only in the spiritual community, but you're still confronted to the reality of the world because you have to go outside. You have to, if you live in a big city, I mean, every day you go outside and you're still confronted to those things, you know, racism, like all these things, they're still there. They're still happening. And so why it was such a big relief and also a huge, like, I want to say awakening to me, because I've been feeling shy for years to talk about these things. I really thought, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. I feel like I'm being too much, so I'm gonna just keep it to myself. Maybe it's me, maybe I haven't healed enough. I was convinced that the problem was me because I was feeling a deep frustration even after my spiritual awakening, even way after my spiritual journey, my healing journey. I was still feeling deeply frustrated regarding men, and I was struggling understanding what does it mean. Okay, I need to keep healing. There's still healing to do because I'm still feeling frustrated, angry. I'm feeling rage, actually. I'm feeling rage and I don't understand where it's coming from. I need to keep healing. The problem must be me. I need to keep healing. And this video was such a relief because I realized, no, it's not me. It's a general thing. And what the world wants to make you feel as a woman is that the second you have a problem with a situation that is oppressing, if you have a problem with men's oppression and you denounce it, you're a hateful woman, you're an angry woman. But I have done a lot of healing. I am very calm. I've come all the way. I've reached a stage of my life where I'm so peaceful with myself. I have my moments of peace. I have my heaven. And I love men. I have forgiven men a while ago. That rage that I was feeling, why am I feeling that way? Why am I still feeling rage toward men? Because the situation is unreal. I'm feeling that way because the world is still a dangerous, exhausting place for women. And that is because of the actions of men in this world. No matter how deep you go in your healing journey, at some point, even if you remove all the frustration, all the trauma you've experienced with men, your father wounds, if you've ever been like abused of any way, even after removing all of this, the world is still the way it is. You're still going out there and you're still going to experience oppression as a woman and intimidation and harassment. I'm going to the park almost every day. It's 10-minute walk away from where I live. Every time I receive things, I receive remarks. I have men coming sometimes even next to my ear whispering things and leaving, like weird situations like this that have been happening my whole life because that's just the way it is, especially if you live in a big city. I grew up in the Caribbean, not even gonna speak about it, just way worse. Now I'm in Europe, I'm living in a big city. Same. You can heal as much as you want. If at some point the external world is still toxic as hell, you're going to feel frustrated. So I understand that I have created my heaven, I have places and spaces, and I'm in a cocoon and I'm very blessed for that. But let's be honest, there is a reality that we need to stop denying as people, to be honest. And that is that the world is oppressing the feminine. It's that the feminine is constantly abused, attacked, in danger. Constantly. And I can feel that maybe because I can also tune in emotions and energies, but I can't pretend that I'm not feeling this outside. I can't pretend that I'm fine with this chaos. I can't pretend. I would be lying to myself. And I feel like the majority of, I want to say, teachers and spiritual people in general, they want to make you feel like if you still have a problem with the way things are in the world, that's because you need to keep healing yourself. You need to keep working on yourself. You still have unhealed wounds within you. No. The problem is you. The problem is you. The problem is you. If you have a problem with war and how crazy things are out there, the problem is you. Keep healing yourself. You're supposed to feel all the time, wherever you go, all the time. So I was feeling guilty, feeling, this frustration about the situation of women in the world. And I'm realizing, no, I have done enough healing. I'm fine. The problem isn't me. The situation in the world is unreal for women. It's hell. Nobody should be living like this, constantly tackled on their physical appearance and shamed because you're dressing like this or like that. What the hell? I think we've also reached a higher level of consciousness where, it's getting harder to just accept absurdities like this. And it's true that I've reached a stage of my life where I'm particularly irritated at nonsense like this. Like literally going outside on the street, having people telling me clearly inappropriate stuff, but most people normalizing this behavior because, oh, you were wearing a top like this, so what did you expect? It's normal that people will scream weird shit at you. I don't think I can receive that nonsense anymore. And I feel like, no, it is not something that is matrix related only. It is something that is also normalized in spiritual community. A lot of people claiming to be spiritual still normalize sexual harassment of women and feel anger toward the feminine energy expressed, project shame on the feminine existing. What the hell is that? And I have a problem with that. There is something within me that is screaming, stop, it makes no sense. And I understand that this rage, this constantly being shamed for being a woman, basically, having to always be careful the way I dress, put on things on top of me to not have people assuming that everything I do is to get some kind of, to trigger men's attention, and all this nonsense is something that I don't think I can't take it anymore. And I finally understood that it is not because I'm unhealed and because I need to keep working on myself. It is a valid rage because this rage is divine, because we have changed frequency. We have moved into a new era, a new world, and it is impossible for us to just tolerate the nonsense that we've been given for so long. We are free human beings, we must exist, and that's it. Shaming women, whatever the they choose to wear, is unreal. You can't call yourself a spiritual person and still pay attention to this thing. That's unreal. And when it comes to the matrix, it is harder and harder to tolerate. Even if it's the matrix, it's still not an excuse to tolerate this normalized sexism and harassment. It's just not possible anymore. We've been asleep on this for a long time, in my opinion. And I think I'm coming to a point where I'm realizing, everything revolves around that. Everything. Every single interaction is, there's always this fear of the feminine expressing itself, and this blaming the feminine always. You trigger him, you're dressing like that to trigger him. Everything you do is about you trying to trigger. Whatever you do, you're being blamed. Whatever you wear, you're being blamed. That hate toward the feminine is the biggest problem of this world. And I'm finally realizing that this exhaustion, this rage that I tend to feel sometimes is valid. It's not that I'm unhealed. This rage is divine. It's coming from God, because the feminine is always under attack all the time. That rage is legitimate. It's signaling that there is a problem in this world, a serious problem. It's the hate of the feminine. It needs to be addressed. We can't just find peace within and just live somewhere far away, stay away from the crowd and just live forever in a little cabin. That's not enough. The world needs to change, and we have to bring that change. That's why it feels more and more exhausting to tolerate that nonsense, because it is nonsense. And I'm being more and more sensitive to that, because I guess I have awakened to my feminine, and I'm like, why should I feel ashamed of anything? I don't understand. Someone explain that to me now. So basically the point of this video was to let you know that, first of all, if you're a woman and whoever you are actually, and you're connected to your feminine energy, okay, feeling rage toward this, the way things are in the world, is beyond valid and legitimate, because it's wrong, and it's wrong beyond measures. Nobody should feel triggered by the way a person is dressed to the point where you have to think about this and be careful what you wear every day. That's just not possible. That's not normal, and that's just one tiny aspect of all of the things that is wrong with this world when it comes to the feminine. That's just one thing. So first of all, understand that your rage is valid. I wanted to share that. No, you don't need to keep healing. It's not related to that. That rage is something that is there and that won't go away. As long as the situation will be like this, you'll feel rage. And because in this world, whenever a woman says anything about men's behavior being wrong, we immediately label as angry, whatever you say. And so I understand that a lot of women have felt a lot of rage, mostly related to trauma, and that they've been projecting that wrongfully on just any man, to the point where sometimes men can think, okay, you're just traumatized. The problem is that if the situation is wrong, we need to just say it. And objectively, the world is a terrible place for women. It's undeniable, and that because of the behavior of men. And that's something that I'm saying objectively. I am not being hateful saying that. It is what it is. So first of all, that's really something I feel that I wanted to share for you to understand. I hope this finds you well. And the second thing is to deeply realize, because I feel like we say it sometimes without truly understand how crazy it is truly. The biggest wound of this world is the hate of the feminine. The hate of the feminine is what marks this world. This is the deepest problem of this world. You want to fix the world, this is what needs to be addressed. The hate of the feminine. Everything comes down to that. Mostly programming of men hating the feminine. Really, that's really what it is. Just like the Walking Dead, they've been programmed to be the zombies and to spread chaos and to attack the feminine energy, which is what's been happening since the beginning of times, that we know. And that is a truth that I feel like as a whole we need to sit down with. What the hell? Why do you hate women? Why do you hate the feminine energy? What has the feminine energy done to you ever? I think it's important that we start sitting down with this and stop playing games and tiptoe around this topic, because it's true. There is a problem with it, and it's not women, it's feminine energy. Sensitivity, vulnerability, femininity, all things feminine energy hated in this world. It's under attack all the time. Until we have addressed that, the world will always be chaos and a dangerous place for the feminine energy and anyone who expresses that, especially women. Okay, I'm so glad I got this out of my chest. Thank you so much for listening. That's pretty much all I had to say for today. Please let me know your thoughts on that. I want to connect with you. So don't hesitate to leave comments down below. I'll make sure to reply to you. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for wanting to co-create something better. We got this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.